I'm Joelle Fishman, and I'm honored to be being interviewed here at the New Haven People Center, 37 House Street in New Haven. And this is a very special building. It's a really treasure, historically and present day. It was founded in 1937. The first writing on the front of the building was in Yiddish, because it was founded by immigrants who were mostly Jewish. They had mostly escaped the Tsar repression in Eastern Europe, and they were workers, and they were organizers, and they were mostly communists and socialists. So they came, and they wanted to keep their traditions, and they put their nickels and dimes together and kept paying off on this little space. They went in the machine shop, and as painters or carpenters, whatever their job was, they began talking union to their co-workers. And so, there was not union halls at the time in New Haven. They brought their co-workers here, and this is the place that many of the labor unions in Connecticut were first conceived of. And it's an amazing unknown story. There's another even more amazing thing, is that this was the meeting place of the YCL, Young Communist League, at the time. And one of the things that they did was to raise the issue that there should be a teachers' college here in New Haven, which there was not. And they were successful. And that teachers' college went on to expand and grow. And today it's called Southern Connecticut State University. The idea was hatched right here in this space. This was also a very important place to break down barriers. And so in that early period, of course, there was deep segregation. And so this was the space of the first black and white theater group in the city of New Haven, called Unity Players. And they went on to enter a contest in the Yale Rep Theater. And they put on a production of Waiting for Lefty by somebody named Clifford Odets, and they won first prize. This was also the space of the first black and white basketball team in the city of New Haven, called the New Haven Red Wings. So those were the early beginning years in this space. Artistically, we have a connection with the great Paul Robeson. Maybe some people don't know. He was a fabulous singer, actor, artist. He was a lawyer and a scholar. And he was a progressive thinker. And so he was for peace. And he was for bringing people together of all races and nationalities. He traveled to the Soviet Union during the Cold War period. And for that he was severely punished. And nobody would allow him to appear to sing or perform. And so there was an effort in, just after World War II, in Peekskill, New York, for Paul Robeson to do an open-air concert. And the Klan gathered, and the concert could not go on. But no one was allowed to leave, was going to leave it at that, not allow that to happen. And so the idea was get together the guys who had just come back from fighting fascism in Europe and let them surround Paul so that he could sing. So they called on Connecticut for that task. And so the returning servicemen from Bristol and Bridgeport and New Britain and Hartford all gathered here at the New Haven People Center, and they had a training. They went on to Peekskill. They surrounded Paul. He gave his beautiful concert. And then the only thing was there was only one road on the way out. And the Klan had gathered, and they had their broken bottles, and they did some damage. No one was killed, some people were hurt, but the concert did go on. So we have a very special connection there. And all of these activities resulted in the People Center being a spot on the Connecticut African American Freedom Trail. But on the first floor is what I call the common room. And this room sees just about every kind of activity. And there's music shows that young people do. There's a lot of poetry now, which we're thrilled about. There's conferences. There's a school. The 1199 Hospital Workers Union has a training and upgrading fund housed on the second floor. And this is for nursing home workers who have won in their contract this training fund, so that if they want to further their education, whether it be GED or phlebotomy training or some higher education, they can come here and prepare for the tests. So during the week, certain weekdays, they use this as one of their classrooms down here. And it's also a place that is used, rented for family parties or that kind of thing. Somebody has a baby shower coming up and their house isn't big enough. And this is a lot nicer and cheaper than a hotel or something like that. So we serve a variety of purposes in this room. And on the second floor, we have the training fund classroom, the main classroom and office. We have the office of the People's Weekly World newspaper, which is my connection to the building. And I'll come back and say a bit about that. And then on the third floor is another small meeting space so that if one of the groups needs to use the building and this space is filled, we do have a second option. And in the third floor is a permanent gallery of Robert Eakins, who was primarily a sculptor, and when he died and didn't have children, the works and the photographs of his works that were remaining we turned into a permanent gallery, which I hope you get to look at. And then also on the third floor is a small library, research library, information, and this contains volumes and pamphlets from the people who've used this building over the decades. And many times the children, say, here are the books, and we've created a library, a labor library, Marxism, national liberation, international stuff. It's pretty unique, and we're just making arrangements now to have that cross-reference at the Manhattan Public Library, so that people will know about it and be able to have access. And speaking of access, we just created a little website, which is peoplecenter.blogspot.com with a slash. So please visit the website.